All right, well, we're going to move on to talking about IEM Sydney here. This might be our only opportunity to do this before the event because of all the travel to get down under for everybody and all that's going to be going on very, very shortly. So we're going to just have a quick look at this one. Now, the groups are yet to be drawn. Now, for those who aren't aware, it's just going to go with the classic ESL format they've been running for the majority of their tournaments. It's the 16 teams split into two groups of eight. Then we're going to have six teams progress all the way to the playoff stage. We're going to have two teams go straight through the semifinals, and four teams will have playoff in quarterfinals. Actually, while we're talking about formats, I quite like that. I quite like that as a format.
Yeah.
Because it means where you place actually in that group stage really matters to you in the tournament and your progression. So that's kind of cool. But we'll just list through the names here. So the big representatives that we have are FaZe, Liquid, MIBR, NIP are there, Renegades, Fnatic, NRG, and I'll throw Mouse Sports into that mix. So those guys right there are, I guess, the heavy hitters and the ones that we should all be looking to expect to get through depending on how these groups get seeded. But then when you cut that off and you look at the lower teams, we have Vici, MVP, Big, Heroic, Chiefs, E United, Greyhound, and Boot. Now, out of those teams, there's two that stand out as clear potential threats, would be Big and Heroic. And then I don't know who you'd start throwing in after that. Maybe Vici if they continue the trajectory that they're currently on. They're not looking too bad, but I'm not putting a lot of stock in names like, E United and MVP, Greyhound, etc.
Boots, yeah.
Both
There's quite a lot of teams that are actually kind of like pretty much confirmed out almost before the event starts, unless we get some like crazy around that. Fuck, was it Chiefs, or am I just tripping now?
Chiefs were at the first one, but
Well, 2 years ago. That's the one I'm talking about.
On Nuke, right?
Oh yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. Obviously lineup completely different now, but yeah, that's about the scale of what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Last year's IEM Sydney was the Greyhound beating SK and then taking a map off FaZe.
And then Renegades making it pretty far as well.
Yeah, they went to the semi against Mouse Sports, right?
Yeah,
I think that
sure.
was the thing.
Yep.
Or the quarterfinals.
That was close. It was a close quarterfinal as far as I remember. But yeah, just that kind of those kind of results. Obviously, Renegades at the time weren't really that underdoggy as like the likes of MVP or Chiefs or even potentially Greyhound. But even in this kind of set of teams, Greyhound actually don't look that bad as opposed to like United or Boot specifically. So they're not 100% set for that last place probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's quite a lot of teams that are not that exciting to watch, honestly. Even though MVP PK actually a team that I kind of like to watch, especially after they've made a couple of changes. They're a little bit different now. They don't have those two veterans that they used to with Soul and
they keep Zeph though. They did Solo and Glow. They kept
Glow. Yeah, that's the other one I'm thinking of. Yeah, that was a team I kind of liked watching even before, and now that they've gotten a few HSK back and the team looks a little bit different. So it's in terms of Asia, it's a team that I kind of like to watch every now and again.
Yeah. Just like keeping an eye on like Australian CS, Greyhound haven't been looking that convincing. They've been losing some map series, but overall they still look like the leading team. So if anyone, it's them or Chiefs this year. They only have 2 slots for Oceania, but Greyhound are the team. Like if someone's gonna do something, then it's probably them. Chiefs not that exciting at the moment. But the thing is, I think how we can look at this tournament is that we have 6 teams going to the playoffs, and they're a bit more of the big names than that. So, like, who is gonna make it? Like, I think like FaZe and Liquid are the big names. But then you have NRG, you have NIP, you have Renegades, Fnatic, Mouse Sports. Like those, let's do 7 teams. I think we can.
Mouse Sports is definitely one that I'm gonna. I think they're gonna be like a solid dark horse. And by dark horse, I mean they're still like among those teams that we probably would expect to at least have a shot at playoffs. But I think they're like the team that could just surprise us and just make a semis and a good appearance there. Out of all these teams that we're not entirely sure about, like NIP, Fnatic, or NRG, out of that group of teams, I feel like the Mousepurse are definitely the most dark horsey in the sense that they I think have a very, very good chance to surprise.
they're exciting, right? Like that's the thing that is about the mouse sports team. I think that like we're throwing NIP into the mix here, and we're basing that off of the fact that they're a top 10 team in the world. But watching them play, and I said this on broadcast of the night, and this is not taking anything away from the team because I always consider them a threat. Like you could put them in a best of 3 against any of the other names of this tournament, and I would say they have a good chance at winning. But they're not an exciting team because they don't have any young prospects. It's just Rez, right? And Rez has now been playing consistently at this level for a decent period of time to no longer be considered like a new prospect anymore. He's one of the better Swedish players still. But when you look at the rest of the players on the team, everybody's just like a baseline. It's just like a baseline. Yep, we hit our baseline. If Forrest carries, cool. Our skill setting goes up here. If Get Right has a good game with some clutches, we go up here. But at no point do you ever see all 5 of the players in the server for these guys, just doing what they do and actually looking like a threatening or scary prospect. They're always a danger, but they're never like, oh shit, like they can just fucking wipe people out.
Also, I'm looking at this entire event just to go on a completely different note. You can come back, Prof, if you want to. Is Liquid actually going to win a tournament where they're favored in?
Or just a premier tournament at all?
Yeah, exactly.
Like the only tournament they won was the Malta event.
Summit last year as well.
And Summit, okay. Those are like small invitational 8-team events. Like they have never won a 16-team 250+K event.
And they're thinking about it constantly as well. Like especially especially after they lose a final like they did in Miami, but. They're even joking about it themselves. Like, not a second place. Let's go.
Yeah.
Naf, shout out to him.
Sweet.
Yeah. So they're obviously, it's definitely in their heads, and that's something that we're going to talk about it over.
There's also the IEM Power Masters people in chat are reminding us, but I completely wiped that out of my brain.
Yeah, because like that's because of what happened afterwards, right? That IEM Power Masters, I guess we all were a little bit like overexcited about Liquid. They were obviously still good. They still did reasonably well at the major. They still did well in Miami, but obviously haven't been like the consistent force competing for titles because they got obliterated in Miami. Didn't really have a chance to win the major either. So that's the thing. But that's something that we're gonna keep talking about with Liquid until they fucking break through this, because it's just the psychological aspect is just something that's been sticking with them through for a long time.
I'm backing them in. I'm going in.
No,
Team Liquid are winning Sydney. Team Liquid are winning IEM Sydney 2019. They're only going to drop 2 maps the entire tournament. Twist is going to get the MVP. They're going to bask in the glory of a delicious VB, have themselves a steak pie, and fucking get some Vegemite on that cunt. Because Liquid are here. They're going to win it. Lock it in.
If there's one part they're surely not going to do is the Vegemite part. That's for sure. I can put money down right now on that one.
It's not as bad as everyone makes it.
Nah, it's not as bad. But
I don't even know what it tastes like, man. Just to say, never even seen it before.
That could be the next forfeit. Anyway, what do you got?
I don't think that's very exciting, is it? I know what it is. It's just like
I need Renegades not to make the grand final so I can have them in the caches.
Yeah, we've heard that before.
Let's take a Liquid, of course.
What are we doing?
Top six.
Top
playoffs.
6. Okay, sorry.
Liquid, FaZe, NRG, Mouse Sports. That's 4.
Wait, hold up. We can maybe work this out. Let's do this. Let's do a little experiment. Okay. We can come up with the seedings, right? We can come up with the seedings right now. We can also use ESLs because I assume that they're going to use their seedings.
Or are they going to seed each other for this?
We haven't heard it, so I don't think...
They probably are, because they did it last time for Chicago. That was their last event. They did for the major, so I don't...
Okay,
might be.
We'll seed it and pretend we're them. Okay, so Liquid's number 1. Without a doubt, Liquid's number 1. Will they put FaZe number 2?
I mean, who would you put above them? You wouldn't
people
put
might
IPR.
argue Renegades, right?
Oh, okay. I guess... I don't think that's going to be the consensus, though. Like, it's not going to be the consensus among these teams, basically. Like, I could see, like, general public maybe potentially thinking this way, but even not even them. The teams are just going to put FaZe mostly second.
Renegades have to be third then. Like, Renegades.
Unless the teams are fucking crazy and they go, like, MIBR third because of the name.
You'd only put Fnatic ahead of Renegades here. But
what do we think about them putting Mouse Sports really high, though? What do we
Well,
think about them like putting maybe Mouseport as 5th or something fairly
no
relatively
way.
crazy?
There's no way they can justify that.
Are
How
you
can they do that?
Are you sure?
Well, the thing is, because you have to think about how teams like Vici, Chiefs, MVP,
But
etc. are going to see.
the teams are clearly based on the major. The teams are clearly not really thinking this way too much. They're just gonna think, oh, Mouseport did really well in Pro League. They're probably really high. It's a team led by Kerrigan. It's got some really good prospects.
But
They're
could you
doing
put
really
them?
well.
But I don't think you could like justify to yourself. You could put them ahead of like NRG or MIBR or anything like that. That would be like
MIBR,
such a stretch.
Are you sure about MIBR? Like, sure.
Look,
Like,
they
I
just
don't
beat
think they will.
Astralis, bro. 16-2 on Overpass. I don't
And
know
then
if you watched that game.
You know what they did afterwards, though?
Lost to Luminosity.
Losing to Luminosity, yeah.
Yeah.
Destroyed the Cloud9, by the way. This just speaks to MIBR and them being inconsistent as fuck.
Also speaks to Cloud9.
And also speaks to Cloud9, yeah.
Losing 14-1.
That entire group was just such
CT
a
side.
fucking mess, man. Like,
Did you
That's
see
obviously
that
everybody
Cloud9
did.
had another one of those, like, how do you lose these rounds against Fur?
who?
Against Fur on Overpass A side. It was like he was planting in a smoke with,
Oh, yeah.
30
I know what you're talking
HP.
about. I saw that.
and they, I don't know.
Did you see the 1v3 that Navi lost to fucking Twist on Overpass? It was
Yep.
the stupidest thing I've ever... Like, I didn't even understand it. I was like, why? Why? And it was actually Simple's fault. I was like, why is this happening?
I mean, you every now and again, like, however Simple is good, like, he obviously makes mistakes. He makes a lot, basically, like, he makes a lot of what you would perceive as mistakes and then just comes back from it, like, in a simple way. But then, obviously, every now and again, it doesn't really work out. He oversteps a line, gets killed for no reason, well, with no refrag. So it just happens with Simple quite a lot, that he puts himself in those situations. It just, he doesn't really come out
Normally he wins
on the
them.
losing side of those situations. That's the Simple. That's basically how Simple works. He puts himself in a lot of dangerous situations, but he somehow wins the majority of them, and that's why he's the best player in the world. But the polar opposite of that is when he loses those, that looks pretty bad.
Okay, so where are we with this seeding? Where are we going to land on this? Liquid at number 1, Phase
Yeah.
number 2.
Yep. I
Number
do.
3?
Okay, I'll agree with Renegades number 3. I think.
I'm pulling up a Google Sheet so we can kind of track it and put it on
Oh
stream,
yeah, okay.
hopefully.
Yeah, we can.
I don't see
we
the
can-
stream
So-
anymore, so Lucas will have to tell me if
Cool.
we have it on or not.
What do we got? Fnatic?
I think are probably even like ranking wise are probably the highest afterwards. Number
Yeah.
9, is that true? I'm just looking through the ranking as well. No, and IPR actually right ahead. Well, MIBR are 6.
It might be actually number
are
6.
6,
so.
but I don't think people put them there. I feel like the Renegades will. Fuck, man. This is the thing. Like the teams are not thinking. The
I
way
think
we do.
MIBR is gonna have.
I
Like,
feel like the thing.
ahead,
Yeah,
Again, ahead of Fnatic for sure.
they're gonna be like 4. MIBR 4, I would say. Yeah. Fnatic and
Yeah.
IQ are gonna be 5th, 6th most likely. Anyway, I would imagine. I'm not sure if the teams would put one above the other. Probably Fnatic above NIP, but I don't know
Yeah.
about the teams thinking there. But I would say Fnatic then and then NIP, which is slightly out from our ranking, which would have been the other way around. But they're like 30 points away from each other.
Then NRG?
NRG, yeah, I don't see. I feel like this is the place where Mousesports could potentially like sneak
I don't
in.
think...
I think it would be unfair, but I think it could happen.
No, I mean now, who would you put above Mousesports? Like
I wouldn't. I would put Mouse
equivocally.
Sports next. I'd definitely put Mouse
Like
Sports
after
next.
Energy, right? I would have put them there too. I feel like Mousesports could sneak in like maybe a spot or two higher just because of how I think the teams will look at them. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong on this. But yeah, I would reasonably. I think this is the place to put them. I'm pretty sure the ranking works out fairly similar to this as well. Big are slightly ahead of them. Considering how they've looked, I feel like Big
Yeah, no.
will probably
way.
be now, maybe like Big and Heroic. We're probably going to be
I'd
somewhere
put
around now.
Heroic ahead of Big.
Yeah,
I'd go
I
like
would
Mouse
too.
Sports, Heroic, Big,
I'd go for that as well.
Yeah.
and then probably Vici. I'd put Vici above Greyhound.
Who else? Who else do we have? This is like Beach. This is all the teams that we're
Yeah,
really not
I think
very
it's
sure about.
Vici, Greyhound,
Vici are
United,
first
Chiefs.
out of that group is Vici
Oh.
first for sure.
Oh wait,
I,
yeah, we have.
I think United won't get a lot just because they don't play anything like internationally. They played a couple of events, but then they changed like half of their roster
Oh,
anyway.
wait, who are we?
I think it's
missing?
Vici
MVP?
and Greyhound based on the major, just based on that. But
Okay.
you could argue for maybe United being ahead of them.
I think okay. So let's just say that United come in I reckon after Greyhound. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
That's not. I don't think that's where they'll end up. But if we're being fair, let's put them there. And then I think MVP, then Chiefs, and then Boot.
Yeah.
Boot are a last for sure, I think.
Yeah, they're a total mess right now. Like, DSN was playing games for them and top
carrying.
fragging.
Yeah.
It's like, what the is going on? I don't know.
Legend.
So MVP, Chiefs, and Boot.
Okay, so the cool thing that we can do now is we can just make a 16-team double elimination bracket and then split that cunt right down the middle, and that's how it should work out, right?
Well, not right down the middle because only 6 teams make it through, but.
Oh yeah, but what I mean is we can work out who's
can make
be
the
on
groups.
what side.
Oh,
yeah.
you mean the groups?
Yeah,
okay.
We can make the groups from this, and then we can work out based off of our seeding who we think the top 6 teams are going to be moving forward.
Does it go just like 1 to like first team goes in one group?
1-16, then 2-15 in another, then 3-14 in the first, then 4-13 in the other.
Yes,
blah 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 blah.
So constantly interchange like that, I guess. And even
like,
if we're wrong a little bit, this is still a fun little experiment that we're
running.
Yeah,
sure. It's a nice way to show people how in what kind of placing we expect these teams to be.
Just to note for the people who are curious, someone asked the question, why isn't Navi or Ents there? Navi, I believe, would have turned down
I'm sure they got
invitation.
Invited, 100%.
And Australis also turned down the invitation. Ents, previously, before the major, weren't considered to be a team to get invited. Obviously, if we were doing this now, they would be invited, but they're not. So this is just the way that it works.
Yeah, I imagine Ents would have probably not gotten an invite, given this was probably sent out quite a long time before the majors. So, yeah, could see that happening for sure.
All right, how are we looking, Prof?
I'm getting lost in the whole thing.
All right, let me give it a crack.
I think you're...
This should be it on this side, and then F, Matic, NRG.
Because it might actually be like a little bit different where this is the way I would do it if I was like Fnatic would be on the same side of the bracket as Liquid, and our third highest seeded team would be Renegades would be on the same side as FaZe.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it goes like 1 and Group A and then 2 and 3 and Group B, or it goes like 1 or like does it go like snake-like or just alternating?
Well, you should basically what you should be aiming for is like one. Wait,
I got it. Hold up. I'll have it in a second. Wait, 1 minute. You guys keep talking.
I'm just trying to work out like the numbers because like obviously they're not.
You can
like
edit
numbered
my stuff
according to each other.
It's open for editing.
I'm just like trying to
spreadsheets linked. So
fit teams to a number.
Someone talk. Someone has to keep the air no longer dead. I can do it. I'll talk. You can't work out the fucking bracket, all right? I'll give you guys the easy job. I'll do the one where I talk. You guys sort out that bracket situation.
Striker.
So
yeah, I'll do it. It's just
going into Sydney. We obviously have that tournament followed up by Madrid.
Can you allow me to change this, please? Wait,
it's, I'm giving a new. It's just a new link.
Cool.
I forgot any. Here's a new link.
Because I would have changed it, but it's just I can't. Just try to add numbers to the teams just so I can easily dissect. What the fuck are you doing? Oh, there we go.
We only really need to work out who's on which side of the bracket, because the opening matches, they'll probably go a pretty clean-cut way. There's only... Usually when you're looking at the way tournaments are seeded, the teams seeded within the top 4, considering the disparity we have right now, should have pretty clean victories, and then it starts to get messier in the middle. So obviously the first 8 teams, the top 4, the bottom 4, that should be pretty clear cut, and then it's just from position 5 down to motherfucking 11 is where it starts to get real saucy and messy. So I think that I've gone with Liquid to take the whole thing, purely based off the fact that I think that now they don't have to go into a tournament just.
No, you're right.
Australis.
Liquid and the FaZe and Renegades should be together.
Yeah,
yeah. We fucked up the groups. I'm looking at it now.
Yeah.
Definitely, because Liquid should be up against WIPR, 1 against 4, 2 against 3, right, and stuff like that. I'll fix it.
Fix it.
Oh fuck! I'm just gonna go Ghost and do the brackets instead of doing the groups, and then we can work out the groups.
We're not good at live stuff here at HLTV.org. Confirmed. We do have Lucas, who's broken the stream 4 times this evening. Okay, well, I'm just trying to think what other cool things will be happening at Sydney.
No day off in between the group stage and the playoffs.
Is that a cool thing?
That's always a cool thing at events.
You don't like having that time off?
No, I enjoy having the time off. So that's sad that we don't have that anymore.
Okay.
That's always good.
I am really looking forward to just eating some Australian food.
How long
really
has it
don't
been
have
since
any
since you were there last?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, what should I eat when I'm in Australia? What is the thing that is good?
We just have really fresh produce and really good quality meat because we grow everything ourselves and we don't import it. In terms of like Australian food, we don't really have like we're kind of just like the British.
What's the deal
with
kangaroo meat? Is that really?
People eat it. Yeah, people eat it.
Is it any good?
I wouldn't go out of my way to eat it, but people eat it. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't know. We just have really good quality food because we grow everything ourselves. So like I love a good old. I asked the British people here. I was like, "Do you have any ketchup for your beef pie?" I don't know if you guys know what a beef pie is, but they're like, "No, we don't do that." I was like, "What? What do you mean?" Like, so beef pie. I need it's not really anything crazy exciting. It's not gonna blow your socks off. Just a home comfort. I don't know. There's not a lot that's down there to really brag about. Just little bits and pieces. How we looking, Striker? We almost there?
Almost. I already have Group A.
I got some Five Guys I want to order.
I'm sorry, what do you got?
Got some Five Guys I want to order. So Group A, the teams in Group A, from our seeding, we've completely made this up. We don't know if this is accurate. Is Liquid, Boot, Heroic, Mouse, Fnatic, Greyhound, MIBR, and E United. So let's base it off of our groups here, who we think is going to come through this. I think that it is probably going to be Liquid, Mouse, and MIBR. That would be my three teams if that was that group.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have faith in MIBR?
Yes, I do. If they play against Fnatic, who mainly get through games with clutches, then I think the MIBR can take that one. And also, I don't think Fnatic's map pool is very impressive by any means.
No. I agree with that, but the problem is MIBR are inconsistent as fuck. And they will not have had like much time to...
They have like a week.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Didn't they...
Not very much.
I actually didn't read the tweet, or it was in Brazilian, but I think Taco said like that they're flying to. I don't know. I'm making this up, but I have a feeling that they're flying to Sydney early, which I hope is not the case.
Well, if they are, then they get even.
That's a terrible idea.
Yeah, could not be true. I think maybe it's just like the Google Translate thing.
Well, at least they could adjust a little bit faster because like obviously with the travel they've been through, they probably need a little bit more time than normally they would. To adjust to schedules and shit because they've just been all over the place for fucking I don't know how long. So that's I'm not. The thing is like with a week, I'm not totally against it honestly. Just because they will not have had like enough time to practice, like especially not against like decent teams in NA. So I feel like I would rather see them be fresh in Sydney rather than get like a couple of days more of practice. Honestly.
Yeah, could be.
I would rather see them do that.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to reinvent the wheel anyway at this point, right?
That's exactly it. Yeah, they don't have the time for it. I think they need after Sydney. They should have. Well, they have to come back for the second group stage, but after Sydney, they should have at least like 3 weeks out of the month or something, which should finally help them kind of sort things out, hopefully. But for now, I feel like we still put them in that like God knows what's going to happen group.
And then on the other side of things, we had our Group B, the one that we made, has FaZe, NRG, Big, Chiefs, Vici, NIP, Renegades, and MVP. For that one, it would be FaZe, NRG, and Renegades in my mind.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, which teams did you say?
FaZe, NRG, and Renegades would be my three teams if that's the group.
I'm a little bit on the fence with it with NRG because they haven't looked particularly convincing with Tarek. I don't think they've found a way to be as consistent as they used to be. So I could definitely see them lose to like an NIP in the deciding game or something, just because of what I just said. Not very consistent, and NIP having that kind of like up and down nature where they can take down like top 10 teams on not even their best day, just on a good day in general. So that's definitely like 50-50 between those two. I'm not entirely sold on NRG. So maybe
I'd go for NRG surely there. Just like I've not been impressed by NIP.
I haven't been impressed by either team honestly, but the problem with NIP is that they actually can take down like any of these teams basically, even FaZe. Like they've shown Probably not Renegades at this point. I think that they wouldn't lose to Renegades just because of the play style. But unless Renegades just don't show up or something, I just don't see that happening. I could see them beat FaZe because FaZe have also been kind of inconsistent. Renegades have at least found a way to play, and they've stuck through it. And it obviously is successful for them in a consistent way. So that's why I would put Renegades above NIP, but not necessarily FaZe above NIP every time.
The only issue for Renegades is that they have been having these like visa issues.
Oh,
so
yeah, that's true.
Their practice has probably not been the greatest for the last month even, or maybe more, with have like 4 of the guys being in Europe, then they went back, then Gratisfaction wasn't with them, or Jakim then joined, but Gratisfaction, as far as I know, isn't in NA still. He just went back home or something until IEM Sydney finishes, and then they'll be trying to figure that out when this event finishes. So I think that could be a kind of an issue for them, which could see them maybe not being the top 3 in this group. But at the same time, like the rest of the teams aren't that impressive in my like Big, Vici, MVP, and Chiefs. Like in the end, someone is probably gonna upset someone. Someone always upsets. Like there's always like a small team that does something
Vici and IP,
unexpected.
didn't that happen before? Or am I just tripping? Did that not happen at some point?
Vici and IP. Vici Fnatic happened.
Oh, Vici. Oh, fuck. Yeah, that's true.
So
that's my bad.
So
pick me an overall winner. I've gone with Liquid. I think Liquid will win the entire thing.
Overall winner.
Oh, jeez. Like it makes sense.
Problem is, I don't see FaZe like replicating that kind of form that they had.
Nah.
Fucking look, no, you're not gonna like me for this.
They played good though in Pro League.
Yeah, against who though? So, picking the overall winner to finish that and the show, I'm going with Fnatic.
Wow.
So I'm not going with Liquid because what Striker said, not going with FaZe just because Lightning doesn't strike twice.
Issues, yeah.
And then Renegades, not because of the whole practice situation. MIBR, definitely not. And then, has to be Fnatic.
Look, I'm going to pull a sponge here, and I'm going to, anti-sponge here, basically. I'm going to say Renegades and JKS to be the MVP because he was fucking amazing. I forgot what it was.
Star Series
I was there. How did I forget?
It feels like a lifetime ago.
That's exactly it. In the CS world, it feels like it was months ago. But yeah, that's what I'm calling fuck it, because I'm not confident in any of these like first 6 teams to win the event. Basically, like I'd probably a logical one would be FaZe, just because of confidence probably going pretty high, and them just winning the last final against Liquid, and there's a pretty high potential for that final to happen again. But yeah, like Prof said, Lightning doesn't strike twice unless you're really unlucky or really lucky in this case. So I am gonna fucking go with the third team, go with Renegades.
Yeah.
Home crowd and everything, you know.
Prof's gone Fnatic, I've gone Liquid, and Striker's gone Renegades. That's our preview for IEM Sydney. Normally we'd take questions, but none of you have asked a single good question this entire time. So go back. You've got a couple days to think about it. We should be bringing you a special on Friday where we do the draft for IEM Sydney once it becomes available for everybody. So we might get a social media post out, and what I want you guys to do is, because we had a couple of players featured on last time, we had Pimp here, we had Moses here. I'll talk to the social media people, but what I'm thinking is we'll get this tweet out into the stratosphere, and you guys tag players who aren't going to be at the motherfucking event in Sydney, and we'll see if we can get them on the show. Because we'll work out that. We'll see if we can get some guests on to do the draft. We can have up to 16 different individuals. We'll see what we work out. But Friday, we should be bringing you a draft special. And I'm still going to see if I can work on a prize. I've dropped the ball. I've been busy watching Pro League. We'll see if we can bring something like that. All in all, thank you again for tuning in. We've run a little bit over. We had a couple of technical difficulties this time around. Twitch servers not being nicely. Lucas not knowing how to use OBS correctly. We do have a few issues, but we should be back. We'll see you soon. Thank you for tuning in to HLTV Confirmed. And also go to anchor.fm/HLTV if you want to listen to audio-only episodes. And if you're one of those people who tweeted us asking for audio episodes and you don't actually do a little bit of research, fuck you. Good night.